How about we class this place up a bit? Alright. In today's video, I'll be taking all the assault rifles in the game and ranking them from worst to best so you guys can get a sense of what the meta is. In order to do this, I've calculated the flash damage DPS, factoring in fragmentation chance, and derived from that the time to kill in non-lethal hit zones, otherwise known as time to kill in leg meta. I've also personally tested how many bullets it takes to kill someone through slick armor on 17 of the most effective bullets in the game, and derived from that the time to kill through tier 6 armor on these 17 rounds. Then from all of this information, I've been able to rank all the assault rifles in the game from worst to best, and then on the top 3, I'll be giving you the meta builds and the budget builds so you can be effective in any situation. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick around. Starting from the worst assault rifles and then moving on to the best. Here we have number 9, this should be of no surprise, the 7.62 AKs. Now I've grouped all the 7.62 AKs together because they have the same fire rate, they fire the same bullets, they effectively have the same DPS and time to kill. Now I'll just quickly go over all the information you see on screen. It may seem complicated, but it's really not. Starting off with the DPS, this is just the flesh damage per second, factoring in fragmentation chance. If you don't know what fragmentation chance is, it's effectively when a bullet hits a target, it has a chance to break up into smaller chunks and deal 50% extra damage. The chance of this happening is different for each bullet, but it's effectively in a crit for an extra 50% damage. You may notice that the flesh DPS is lower on rounds that have higher armor penetration. This doesn't mean it's a less effective round overall, it just means it's less effective when used for the leg meta, which is why this statistic isn't the most important here. Then once we have that damage per second, we can figure out TTK, which is time to kill. So we just take how long does it take that DPS to deal 440 damage, which is the full health of a PMC. So how long does it take to kill someone when you're shooting them in the legs? That's our TTK, time to kill. Next, K through slick. Slick armor is the best armor in the game right now. And this number is how many of these bullets does it take to kill someone with chest shots through slick armor. And then from that, this gives us our most important statistic, the time to kill when you're shooting someone through slick armor. It's also worth noting that any assault rifle can be effective as long as you're using the right bullets. But as we all know, gunfights can be won or lost in a matter of seconds or milliseconds. So this video is about giving you an edge. Even if it's just a slight edge, a few milliseconds, that could mean surviving a raid or dying in a raid. So with all that said, the reason why the 7.62 AKs have found themselves at the bottom of the list is because they fire a fat round with relatively low armor penetration at a slow fire rate, which makes their time to kill the lowest amongst the assault rifles. Coming in at number 8 is the Ash 12. The Ash 12 has the highest DPS out of all the assault rifles. But since you can't use fully automatic at anything else than point blank because the recoil is so intense, we can't take this figure seriously. And since it doesn't have great armor penetration, taking 5 hits to kill someone in the chest through slick armor, it's landed itself at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is the 5.56 MDR. 5.56 NATO is a great caliber, but since the MDR's rate of fire is so low, it's made its DPS and time to kill low as well. That's why it's ended up at number 7. Next up, you may be surprised to see it so low on the list. At number 6, it's the Colt M4A1. Now this is one of my favorite weapons, as well as I'm sure it's a favorite of many of the other people in the Tarkov community. But the reason it's so low on the list is because its time to kill just doesn't stack up with the other assault rifles. The reason this weapon is such a favorite amongst the Tarkov community, including myself, is not only because it's such an iconic weapon, but the recoil is easy to handle, the bullet price is relatively low, and it can just be modded in so many ways that makes it look awesome. Not necessarily because the time to kill is better than the other assault rifles, which is why it's only number 6 on this list. Coming in at number 5, we have the 5.45 AKs. Now the reason the 5.45 AKs have edged out a victory over the Colt M4 is not only because it's way cheaper to mod, way cheaper to run the best rounds, but because a 5.45 AK firing Eaglenik has a quicker time to kill through slick than a Colt M4A1 firing M995, which is a much more expensive round. Coming in at number 4, the HK416A5. The HK416 is the best assault rifle that fires the NATO round. It has a faster fire rate than the Colt M4. That's why it was able to edge out a victory even over AKs firing Eaglenik. Even after its many nerfs, I know a lot of you guys hate it, but coming in at number 3, it's still deadly, the AS Val. The AS Val has the fastest fire rate out of all the assault rifles, and it fires extremely deadly rounds. That's why it's still an insane weapon, and all the nerfs only managed to take it from the best assault rifle down to the 3rd best assault rifle. Coming in at number 2, the 2nd best assault rifle in the game right now, we have the 308 MDR. Something extremely important to note here, there's a new round in the game called M993, which has even more armor penetration than the M61. But since it doesn't have as much flesh damage, it still takes 3 bullets to kill someone through the best armor in the game. So unless they put tier 7 armor into the game, you're better off going with M61 because it only takes 2 bullets to kill through slick, or M62 because it takes the same amount of bullets to kill through slick and costs less than half the cost of M993. So the M61 is still the best bullet in the game. With only 2 bullets to kill someone through slick armor, this lands this weapon at number 2 with an insane time to kill of 0.184 seconds. Which means coming in at number 1, I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this coming, the Big Daddy SA58. This is the only other assault rifle currently in the game that can fire M61, but it has a faster rate of fire and can accept way better mods. That's why this one is number 1, with a time to kill with M61 of only 0.171 seconds. Just insane. So there you have it, going from worst to best. At number 9 we have the 7.62 AKs, number 8 the Ash 12, number 7 the 5.56 MDR, number 6 the Colt M4A1, number 5 the 5.45 AKs, number 4 the HK416A5, number 3 the AS Val, number 2 the 308 MDR, and at number 1 the SA58. Now we're going to take the top 3 assault rifles and I'm going to show you their meta builds as well as their budget builds so you can get out there and start slaying fools. Starting off with the budget AS Val, since it's so accurate, this is literally all you need, just a cheap reflex sight, the Cobra EKP. Now, not including the mags and ammo, this will only cost you 90k. As for the mags and ammo, I would take one 30 rounder and 2 20s. Make this your main mag and load it with something expensive like BP. And then your 2 side mags, just load it with something cheap like SP5 or SP6. Moving on to the meta AS Val, this is it here. Now since it already has extremely low vertical recoil, we're mainly going to be focusing on ergonomics. These are the things you'll need: an AS Val pistol grip buffer tube, a Magpul PRS Gen 3 stock, an SVD low side mount, a PKO6 reflex sight, an RP1 charge handle, an ANPEQ15 tactical device, a TOS 6P29M mount, and a Fortis Shift tactical grip. All of this in total will cost you around 193k before mags and ammunition. But as for mags and ammunition, I would take 4 30 rounders and fill them all up with BP. Now something a lot of people may not know is that while you have any tactical device turned on, whether it's a laser or a torch, you actually have a lot tighter bullet spread when firing from the hip. But the reason I like the ANPEQ the best is because you can use Alt-T to get to this infrared torch, which is damn near invisible, which will give you the buff without giving your position away. I'll just quickly show you for comparison the difference between the infrared torch turned on versus turned off. So this is off, and this is on. If you can see the difference there, the one on the left is much more spread out than the one on the right. So if you're like me and you find yourself point firing from the hip all the time, I would definitely use one of these because it'll give you an edge over other players. Moving on to the budget 308 MDR. This will cost you around 98k before mags and ammunition. It's got 100 vertical recoil and 84 ergonomics. Now the beautiful thing about this gun is that it doesn't need or take many mods. You can normally find it on the market with already a 308 flash hider attached and a mag in it. Then all you need to pick up is a Burris Fastfire Weaver base, a Burris Fastfire 3 reflex sight, a 4.1 inch guard, and an RKO foregrip. Then you just need 2 or 3 more mags, fill your main mag with M61 and your side mags with M80. Next we're on to the 308 MDR meta build. Now this will cost you around 193,000 before mags and ammunition. It's got 83 vertical recoil, 73 ergonomics. Now this baby, unlike the ASVAL, she's got some kick. So the main thing we're focusing on here is reducing vertical recoil. So I would run the PKO6 reflex sight, an ANPQ15 tactical device, a 2.5 inch guide, a Lantac Dragon muscle brake, a Lantac blast mitigation device, a direct thread adapter for the Lantac blast mitigation device, a 4.1 inch guide, as well as an RK2 foregrip. Now something I do that you don't have to do is I put on these Magpul M-Bus foldable sights, which just gives you a little bit of extra ergonomics even though they're folded down. As for mags, I would normally take 4 to 5 mags and fill them all with the M61. Next we're on to SA58 budget build. This is serious bang for buck value. It's only 109,000. It does have some kick at 108, so I recommend crouching while you're firing, and 54 ergonomics. Try and find one on the market that already has an Australian style muzzle brake on it. Then you'll need to pick up a Fab AG-FAL pistol grip, an DSA BRS stock, a Burris Fastfire 3 reflex sight, a Burris Fastfire Weaver base, a DS Arms quad rail full length foregrip, and a Zenit RKO foregrip. As for mags, I would run one 30 rounder and 2 or 3 20 rounders, fill the 30 rounder full of M61 and the others full of M80. Here it is, what you've all been waiting for, the big bad thick boy destroyer, the SA58 meta build. Now this will cost you 211,000 before mags and ammunition, comes with 66 recoil and 51 ergonomics. What you'll need is a Fab AG-FAL pistol grip, a DSA BRS stock, a DS Arms extreme duty dust cover, a PKO6 reflex sight, a CAS-V FAL foregrips, an ANPQ15 tactical device, a Lantac Dragon muzzle brake, a Lantac blast mitigation device, a direct thread adapter for the Lantac blast mitigation device, a 2-inch guide, a 5-inch guide, and an RK2 foregrip. As for mags, I would normally run 3 or 4 50 rounders and pack them all with M61, or top load them with M61 and bottom load with M80. It's also worth noting if you want to go silenced on the SA58 or the 308 MDMR, because you need to get rid of the muzzle flash for maps like Interchange or Night Raids, I would run the Daniel Defense Wave muzzle brake as well as the Daniel Defense QD sound suppressor. They go on top of each other and reduce the recoil by 14%, so it's definitely the best combination for going silenced. Just for shits and gigs, I'll show you what the SA58 meta build recoil looks like while crouched without me adjusting for recoil with my mouse.
I will remember you.
Oh, wait, yeah. Just ready to die, dude. Set my fate.
That's all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe up here. I really do appreciate it. Also, leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite weapons are, or if you use one of my builds. Also, smash that like button. Maybe check out one of these vids, and I'll see you in the next one.